So, hi everyone. I'm Laura Jean. I'm a business coach here in Toronto, and today I am speaking with Alison Crosthwait, a transformational coach, about the secret to her success. Now, I'm going to let Alison introduce herself in more depth because she is always in transformation. That's one of the things I love so much about Alison. And so I'll let you share exactly what you do as a transformational coach.
So, Laura Jean, it's fantastic to be here with you. I always love my time with you, so thank you.
Pleasure.
2020 has been, like, for all of us, hugely transformational, and I am riding the wave of that change and building a coach. I used to be a psychotherapist. I still have a small private practice, but I'm pivoting away from the weekly focus on mental health, which is extremely important, and I'm moving that into a big leaps opportunity through transformational coaching. So I'm drawing on the emotional training that I have to help people clear and gain insight. And I'm also adding in physical and spiritual leaps so that people can gain energy, connect to purpose, expand the dream, get rid of that stuckness, and like get to that place that they want to get to. You know, you ride the wave of 2020 change and really get there in a really short
I love the way that sounds. I love leaps. I love short time. I like so many entrepreneurs. I think I'm just impatient.
time. I know, me too.
So I'm curious how I've known you for quite a while now, and I know you used to be a trader. You've been through so many changes in your life and career. How do you define success?
That is a great question. And where I'm at with it right now, and again, it is always evolving. It's when I feel satisfied and full and my energy is just overflowing rather than any type of like grasping or draining. So it's about my inner state and my feeling of just like giving and enjoying and receiving and being. That's success.
So that's like the ultimate dream, I think, for so many people. And so my assumption is that as a trader, you had financial success like ridiculous off the charts, but you weren't happy in your day-to-day work.
Agreed. And I'll tell you something, because I just told you when we were chatting, but I'm writing a book on money mindset. And here's something that happened when I was a trader. I would get a bonus every year, huge, ridiculous number bonus. I would be too scared to look at my bank account.
That's
It
great.
would take weeks for me to actually look at the number because my self-image did not connect with the money. And so I was not in flow, even though I was earning.
Does that mean that you felt you didn't deserve it, or what's behind that?
Yeah, I
That-
couldn't receive it.
That's so crazy.
Isn't it? It's
That
crazy, but I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. And
Yeah.
I hear people who make $1 million a year say to me, oh God, I can't spend $5,000 on myself or $25,000 on myself. Like it's a shock. It's shocking.
So is money mindset a big part of the work that you do with your clients right now then?
Yeah, absolutely. It's shifting. Most of the people that I work with are quite high earning, but they don't feel rich.
Wow.
So it's so interesting because entrepreneurs tend to spend a lot of time feeling rich and trying to manifest
Right.
the money because we've got so many ideas. We just keep investing further and further. But there's this whole set of people who have tons of money, but they feel like they don't have any.
That's so wild.
Isn't it?
Amazing.
So yeah, absolutely.
So you're writing a book. Now, what do you attribute? So you feel successful.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sounds like you feel like you're in alignment. Everything is in flow now. It's going, it's what you always wanted. The money is
Absolutely.
there, the work is there, the work feeds your soul, everything's great. So what do you attribute your success to?
So it's about showing up for myself. And this is what I learned right before COVID. I learned this. I crystallized for me. So if I'm taking care of myself and I feel in flow and I just feel good, then when I look at my to-do list, it's minuscule because everything's easy. It takes 2 seconds. I'm creative. So if there's like a thing, I solve it like this, and it just like takes care of itself. But I've spent most of my life, like most of us, not at that high state because I didn't even know that existed. I mean, my parents don't live in that high state. Like I had to kind of come to that understanding. So when we're not at the high state, we look at our to-do list, and like if you actually add up the amount of time each thing takes, it's a million years, and you know you're never going to get it all done. So the trick is, in the low state, do not look at the to-do list. The only job in the low state, and I don't mean you have to be sad or stuck in the low state, you just aren't at your best. In that state, the only job is feeling good for as long as it takes. And it might take a week.
Mhm.
That's the only job. And then when you feel good, it all just takes care of itself.
Mm. So what does, and so many people have it backwards, right? It's like when I get all this stuff done, then I'll be at a place where I'll finally be happy and I'll be satisfied.
And I do that to myself all the time. I'm like, just grind through it, Alison, then you can play. And at this point, my being will not allow me to do that. It will just shut down immediately. It's like, nah.
Right. So your inner being is watching out for you pretty much at this point. Cool. So what does that look like then to get into the high state where your to-do list seems minuscule?
Yeah, so many things. I have a whole set of practices that I do that I developed over time, and they change all the time. I call it each of us has our personal magic. We each have our perfect combination of diet and lifestyle and healthcare practitioners and emotional release and spiritual work that works for us right now. But I will say, in general, you want to be unblocking energy and raising your state and expanding your perspective. So anything that doesn't do those things is not contributing. And anything that does do those things is contributing.
So examples of those things, I'm assuming, is going to be meditation, exercise, like all the stuff.
All the stuff, spiritual practices are really important. Energetic clearing, even if you don't feel like it's happening. Ritual. When the energetic sludge is deep, we don't feel like anything's happening, but you got to keep at it because eventually you will get to it, and then you'll be really, really sensitive to it. Also, sexual energy is a big one. Running sexual energy, feeling our desire, that's another great one, to self-pleasure on our own or sex. It's all just so good to get our energy high. Nature, swimming, running, like anything that just like raises the state and gets the energy flowing.
I love it. I think I'm such a believer in, everything has to be working in your life for your business to be working. So, that's just what you're pointing to. Like your relationships have to be, when everything's in flow, then everything can be in flow. And when anything's blocked, then everything's blocked. So that's awesome. So I'm assuming that sort of the actual practicality of get that energy cleared and doing that work is what you work with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I really believe in is all the touch points. So I'm truly an integrationist. There's people who this modality or that modality, it's not my path for whatever reason. My path is to bring them together, to make sure that everybody that I work with has the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, and the sexual, which is all of them, moving. And when we've got all of those moving, things just change so quickly. It's like rolling a tube of toothpaste up from the bottom. Stuff just comes out, and it's incredible.
That is awesome. Well, what else do you have to share with us in terms of what you're working on? I'm fascinated to hear more about the book, if we can.
Yeah, sure. So the book is, it's money mindset for corporate execs, basically. It's money mindset for the other side, where I used to be, who have income, but they don't do the money mindset work because they don't need to do the money mindset work because they have money, right?
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay.
But it's so interesting because as I offer them things, it's actually much easier to attract clients in the entrepreneurial space. Even though we're over marketed to in a way, even though we're all doing a ton of personal development, relatively easy to attract entrepreneurial clients because they're entrepreneurial. But there's this whole world of people who have not been exposed to some of the thinking that's really key. Like I'm reading John Randolph Pierce right now. And I mean, it's just so obvious when you think about it, but money is energy, is God, is in me, is in you. It's all everywhere and we all deserve it. And all we have to do is relax into it.
Mm-hmm.
So any experience we've had that isn't safe in the world, any traumas, those are our blocks to receiving money, love, everything. So it's just like mind blowing. And so what I'm doing is translating this for an audience that doesn't get as much of that because it's like they don't need it, but they do need it, because if you don't feel rich, you can't bring your gifts to the world. And I think it's so important that all the money out there is kind of mobilized to as much money as we can. That's kind of my mission, is to get as much money as we can mobilized towards changing the world in the direction it really needs to go.
That is awesome. And such an interesting take on it. I'm so immersed in the entrepreneurial world. And to me, money mindset is all about, like when we talk about money mindset, it's all about, believing you're worth earning that kind of money, and how to manifest that, and how to charge the prices you want, and all of that stuff. And
Totally.
it's so interesting to hear it coming from the other side. And it makes perfect sense.
Right.
Completely. So.
And it really came from my clients, because I would say things and they would look at me like I had a million heads. Like seriously. And I was like, oh. And then I thought, they're never going to read, they're not going to read these books because they're not written for them.
Yeah.
Like they don't need money. So why would they try to visualize more money? That's not the thing.
Yeah. It sounds like you're writing the book that you needed.
Yes.
Like 10 years ago or whatever
Exactly.
it was. Yeah. That's awesome. And I love the whole topic of money, it's so loaded. It's something that we just don't talk about. We talk about it a lot. We talk about it like, I want more of it and I want whatever, and I spent too much on this or whatever, but it's very abstract. We talk about it in these terms like too much, or it was cheap, or that was expensive, or whatever. And it's hard to have a conversation about that, because you might say something expensive and I think, oh, it must have been $1,000, but it was really 400 or 10,000, right? Like
exactly.
So I think actually talking about money, which is something I love doing with my clients too, like creating a budget for your business, like getting really practical and tactical about money and how you're going to earn it and how much you want to earn and how much you should be charging, and all of those things is really exciting. That's where like actual things can happen, instead of just talking about it in the abstract or talking about it like it's scarce.
Exactly.
So we just load so much meaning on it, and so much, like it means something about us, what we're earning, all that stuff. It's just huge. So this is, this is new to me, that you're really diving into the money mindset. You and I haven't talked in a couple of months. So this is the new Alison.
Yeah, and it's just one piece, because what I'm really surrendering to about myself is I'm a true Gemini. I'm multifaceted. I'm super interested in psychedelic research and where it's going. Sexual healing is a huge passion. Money mindset, definitely. And all these things are possible. Who I am as a business person really goes in different directions, and that's okay. I don't have to be like the X person,
I love that. It sounds so. We're coming to the end of our 15 minutes. In conclusion, what would you say then is the secret to your success?
Oh, doing the things that scare me over and over and over again.
What was that? Showing up for you?
Showing up for me and doing the things that scare me, like just keep showing up.
Well, and just at the end there, when you mentioned like all the different aspects, like the sexual, the psychedelics, the whatever, since I've known you, you're into something, and now you're into something else, and now you're into something else. And it sounds like just embracing, which I really get too, as a multi-passionate, person who dives into stuff obsessively. I really get the whole, getting crazy about one thing, and then finally coming to a place of embracing it all and saying, this is all part of who I am. It's all part of what I have to offer. It's all part of how I learn. So I'm inspired by you as usual.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we need to give ourselves permission to really be who we are. And some of us are easily branded as one thing, and some of us just are not.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been, as usual, an amazing conversation with you. I always love connecting with you. And we'll include links of how people can get in touch with you, can find out
Great.
about all your new stuff, and have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you again soon.
You too, Laura Jean. Thank you so much. This is great.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you.
Yeah.
And